When I think back to all the classic games on the Nintendo 64, certain games come to mind. Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye 007, and the rest. But what about the unsung games? What about the games that slip through the cracks of the commercial cesspool? What about those hidden gems that don't get the love of the masses? What about Shadowgate 64? Let's talk about this one. The Shadowgate series started as a point-and-click adventure game for the Mac. No, not that Mac, this one. Along the way, your character would interact with its environments, figuring out how to both escape and defeat the Warlock Lord at the same time. It was a difficult game, partially because it was a relatively opaque experience. I had no idea what I was doing most of the time, and because there are 1,000 ways to die. I did a live stream of this years ago, and I needed a GameFAQs walkthrough the entire way. Fast forward nearly 2 decades, and here we are in 1999 with Shadowgate 64. Shadowgate 64, Trials of the Four Towers was released on June 9th, 1999 in North America, followed by a July 30th release in Europe and an August 13th release in Japan. It was jointly developed by TNS Co. Limited and Infinite Ventures and published by Kemco. We love your classic Crazy Castle and Kid Clown games. Shadowgate 64 starts with an ominous scrolling intro that you can read on your own if you ever feel like it, but the basic idea is that after the defeat of the Warlock Lord centuries ago, peace was finally achieved, but also complacency. Shadowgate Castle has degenerated into a haunt for thieves and beggars, instead of the majestic place it once was. You play the role of the mostly unseen Del Cottonwood. A majorly 2D intro features your caravan being savagely attacked by fire arrows and ambushed by bandits. Del is taken to Castle Shadowgate and is placed in prison by this burly dungeon keeper. Slowly. Wait, isn't that the guy from Stranger Things? Here is where our game begins, and it's immediately apparent that we can't stab our way out of this situation. We need to use our big, juicy brain. Shadowgate 64 is an adventure game with very little as far as action goes, but Del is free to explore his surroundings at will. I love the background noise of the dungeon. Listen carefully. Alright, who has gas in their cell? There's not much to do in here, but luckily we can talk to this dude Agar next door. The dungeon keeper brings you some tasty meat, which will help quell your hunger pangs. But it's time to get the heck out of here. Grabbing the bone from your meat, Del moves the weird straw on the ground to reveal a grate. That's great. A great grate. I'm grateful to find this great grate. Using the bone, Del pries it open and heads to the sewer, where our real adventure begins. Oh, stanky. It's a little wet down here, plus the water can get kinda deep. Step a little too far into the sewer and... Del can die. Yeah, it's one of those kinds of games. Trial and error to determine survival. But hey, at least his deaths are kinda funny. We grab an iron bar for the heck of it, then head deeper into the canal. After hacking away at a stone pillar, let's cross the... Egad! An apparition! Unfortunately, we don't speak his language, so I guess we have to move on. Step over Murphy Jones here, and grab a pickaxe sitting around. Then go back. Dagnabbit! Further down the canal, Del, portrayed by me this season, has to climb this green wall using the pickaxe. Up we go into this weird hole, sneaking into Castle Shadowgate from below. The place is, well, dismal and brown, just like my heart. Exploring here reveals not much of interest, save for the occasional item of note, such as a wicker bowl. Very, very nice. Lumber, good. And a hidden spool of frayed rope. Take it! Take it! Moving into the next room, a child must have lived here. Grab this fairy statue, as well as this red slipper. Seems to be magically stuck to the table. Well, let's head upstairs to discover that this is indeed one of the 4 towers, just like in the name of the game. Whoa! The carpeting is nice, but this place is ugly. You're gonna find that this game doesn't exactly deliver exciting environment. No, I'm too young and handsome to die. This is Lakmir, and he shall guide us on our quest periodically, similarly to the owl from the Legend of Zelda series, though Lakmir is a lot less helpful. Grabbing this elf statue, we head upstairs to explore more of the place. The library has a ton of books we totally need to lug around. Most of them are simply to provide backstory should we want to read them, though they occasionally hide clues we'll need to traverse this often opaque adventure. Oh, look. Upstairs, there's a bottle of liquid sunset we need, plus an ape-man statue. Just what I need. More stuff to carry. In another room lies haunted furniture, plus a primitive man statue and an ancient coin. This is all well and good. I'm becoming the castle custodian by cleaning up all the crap people have left behind. Anyway, we have to solve this puzzle by instinctively placing the fairy and elf statues in their rightful places. As for the other statues, we're just going to hold on to them for the rest of the game and never use them. Shadowgate 64 does have this problem of a weighty inventory, not all of which is ever actually useful, especially all the texts. Through the stairway to the next floor, there's a lot to grab, but the pixie flute is the only useful item. What does it do? Well, go back to the library, tie a rope to the window, and use the flute to, shrink yourself down. Boom. Now you can escape and explore outside. You couldn't just, use a door or something. Outside, we're in a cemetery, but let's get the heck out of here and visit the cathedral, where we grab a bottle of dragon tears, as well as a couple of keys and a crowbar from the basement. Hear me now. A crowbar in any video game is automatically useful. Then it's up the ladder to see what the upper floor has to... Nuts! The way up is chained down, so let's use the crowbar to get this nail out, grab the nail as well, and go to the roof. It's in pretty poor condition, so we need to be extremely careful when walking. Goodness. Here we are in the Tower of Lakmir. A quick trip to the kitchen to get us some food. A bottle of oil, and to drop dragon tears into a bucket. Alright, time to go and... Lakmir returns to chat. Get out of here. There's lots to see and do in the Tower of Lakmir. Why not pocket a strand of old random hair? Or this ugly mug from 1763. And oh, what's this? An extremely well-hidden rusty key that most people would never find but is actually needed to complete the game? Oh, Shadowgate, you tease. You bitter, bowel-irritating tease. Down in the basement featuring this ugly, ugly door. Oh, it's rusted shut. Thank goodness we grabbed canola oil from the kitchen. Inside, the basement looks dilapidated. And there isn't much to see except this Star Trek emblem. Better take that too, in case the Shadowgate Trekkie convention suddenly hits. Remember that mug from like a minute ago? Let's go scoop some of that old dragon water. Using the water, Del puts out the weird purple fire and inserts the Star Trek emblem behind it. I guess that's how you turn on electrical systems in the castle. Yeah, who designed that? At this point you can see what kind of game this is. Convoluted and inventory heavy, but I'm dedicated, so we have to trek on. Now a door is opened, and we have to get through a weird maze. Touch different knight statues to transport your way through, but touch the wrong one, and you end up back at the beginning. It's a maze of trial and error, but we can prevail. Once through, we peruse the upstairs rooms and grab forest nectar, another harmless book, and we find this big machine. What does it do? Well, I'm gonna throw a random nail into it and see what happens. Why, it converts the nail into another key. Do you want to take it?
No.
And if you thought that was unusual, let's visit this room, grab a quill and a bottle of night elixir, create a fine mixture in this random bowl, and make the ceiling light up. Weird enough. But now, with that one unusual red star in the ceiling, let's stick a damn key in it, opening a side room containing several expensive-looking rings. Lakmir congratulates you on deciphering his bedroom riddles, and also gives you a glimpse into the true evil afoot in Castle Shadowgate. The evil Lord Jer. Spooky. So, what do you think of Shadowgate 64 so far? The colors are dingy, the action is limited to just walking around, and... Yet for some reason, this game boasts an inexplicable pull that I can't quite put my finger on. It probably wasn't worth the $100 price tag I once saw attached to it in a Walmart, but it's certainly different. Now then, let's continue our quest. We grab the 3 rings and skedaddle as quickly as we can. The Ring of the Dead can be pretty useful. Returning to town, there's a coffin in the cathedral containing a dead old lady we can now talk to and earn a free pendant from. Gorgeous. We can also talk to this dapper man who wants us to find his granddaughter. Plus, finally I can walk in style. Also, oh hello. Dell sneaks into a hideout for thieves and steals a crappy sword in the name of justice. Also here we meet Will Goddard, a truly handsome troubadour who kinda looks like the ancestor of Kurt Smith from Tears for Fears. Listening to his many hip ditties earns us a flower. Well, at least it was free. Also outside, an old sorcerer tells me I'll need the Stone of Thirst to drain a lake. Okay. Well, all this adventuring has me tired. Let's go to the inn. They sure don't like me. What if I flashed a little bling bling, you know, to show I'm loaded? Donning that old dead lady's pendant. Now he's suspicious that I'm a grave robber. After answering some knowledge-testing questions, I'm proven not to be a thief, and I get a room, plus a chat with Carmen Sandiego, the sister of the guy I met in the dungeon. Guess there's no time for rest today after all. Let's go check out the cemetery and see if any dead people want to chat. Aristolin, the rich deceased geezer and winner of the Mama's Family Aunt Effie look-alike contest, has a few choice words and, offering that flower as an act of kindness, says I can have all of his riches, if I can find them. And I do. They're in the underground canal near a skeleton. Well, I'm a millionaire now. Game over. Time to shop. Actually, there's only one store in this whole area. Festus's shop. And I can use my newfound wealth to buy a violin? Wait, I have to pick one? Okay, the chipped one. Only because Will Goddard told me so. But now we have to be sneaky. Let's put that violin on the dungeon keeper's table, and while he plays a jaunty tune, we'll steal the dungeon keys and... carefully escape to let out old Agar the Horrible, shall we? Then we'll lock in the dungeon keeper so he's no longer a menace to society. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Agar and his sister are very grateful for your help and offer you free lodging in Castle Shadowgate. Wonderful, the first Airbnb. Freeloading magicians! Now grab all sorts of things. A blue tuft here, spare change, and oh geez, more Lakmir. Oh! A flint, a random lever, a tooth, and head on over to the excavation site.
I suck.
Where Jaren, the town comedian, apparently, is looking for exotic coins. Oh, we got one here. Off he dashes jauntily, and although we are far less rich, at least I found an old slipper that matches the other one quite nicely, except for the dirt. The owner of the slippers, this little girl, is dead, so yeah. At least we pleased the dapper man, who now gives us the Stone of Thirst. Refreshing. Toss it in the water underground, and watch it just disappear without a trace. But now we have access to a previously underwater door that leads to the Tower of Trials. Yeah, the dreaded Tower of Trials. Arguably my least favorite part of the game. Makes me want to listen to more hits from Will Goddard. But this is indeed a series of trials meant to tax your brain, and tax it they shall. Because here's the thing. Unless you read all the books and scraps of paper you picked up, you'll probably have no idea what to do. Heck, you might be lost no matter what you do. How will I know how to work Get out of here, Lackmere, you boob! How will I know how to work this contraption and turn the valves the right way? Alright, let's actually enter the Lackmere! Quit following me! Do I need a restraining order here? There will be plenty of literature to pick up and peruse, but we're smart and we don't need to read them. We only read game facts. We also learn from ghosts, like this one of Nathor Dreslin, who claims to be the true heir to the king's throne. Seems like a problem. Not one I feel like solving, but I feel bad for you, son. The first trial is to pay homage to the king. That's Lord Jer. Yeah, spitting image if I do say so myself. But no, actually, we just learned he's not the real king, didn't we? It's that paranormal patriarch from a moment ago, Nathor Dreslin. Bow down to him and... Oh look, a switch to press. And now we have to grab a bunch of puzzle pieces and put them together the right way, and I don't even know how. Doing so unlocks this door, leading to... Time to answer some trivia with this angry set of walls. Get a question wrong, and you have to restart. Lovely. Try not to get chopped up in this area, or else... Once through that ordeal, my least favorite puzzle rears its head. The damn multi-floor maze with the buttons that make doors appear and all that. All the while, you have but a single torch to light your way that slowly gets snuffed out over time. Game facts, take me away! I made it out alive. We grabbed the final ring, the Ring of the Kingdom, look at yourself in the mirror for a while, and get the heck out of this place. Out of my way, Lackmere. I got a job to do.
And now, the final half hour.
Hey, remember this door? Of course you don't. I didn't even show it to you before. But it was here in the first tower all along, and with the power of the Ring of the Kingdom, we can now open it, leading to... a carrot. No, wait, it's actually a dragon flute. It's truly... fascinating. Stumbling through town, we get back to the excavation site and... Crap. We arrive at this door with 2 statues, and with 1 horn blow, we're in. But it seems very dangerous in here, so let's be very cautious. Need more literature? Or maybe a big eyeball? Yeah! Here's an ugly dragon etching in need of an extra tooth. Tooth success! Stairs appear, and we can go up further, and further, and further, and hey! A junky guitar in need of strings! Let's put weird hair on it. Alas, we arrive at another puzzle where you have to flip different wings on these golden birds to unlock the way forward. Could take you all day trying different combinations to get to the top, where we meet a dragon. This is awesome. I can't wait to... For the love of stink bugs, will you go away? We grab the Staff of Ages from his head, and the dragon awakens, making a weird noise. Atop his back, Del rides off with an... Back in town, the goblin guards are looking for me. I'm in deep trouble. Better make a distraction. I'll set this animal feed on fire. Del takes off in a burst of speed until he runs into Lurch here, who regrets all of his life decisions while offering to distract the guards while you go in and do your thing. Hurry in. 'Tis the Chamber of Holding. Nothing about this looks good at all. There's even a fake Staff of Ages on the stand. Pop an eye on it and go hide. Lord Jer arrives and, well, does this. Unfortunately, that fake Staff of Ages didn't do him any good, and Lord Jer dies in a pretty haunting fashion. You better be here to give me a trophy, you bearded doofus. Heading out into the courtyard, who should happen to be peering upon us but a giant warlock lord? The effect is pretty impressive, actually, and it's kind of sinister. We must run over to this Jer statue, give him the Staff of Ages and the Ring of the Kingdom, and let events run their oddly rendered course. sun shines, and Del still has his Ford Dragonspire as a new vehicle. The epilogue scrolls by, telling the final tales of Del Cottonwood, probably including that he realizes he's a college dropout and will need to find a new job back in his old town of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Oh. So, where do I stand on Shadowgate 64? This is certainly a game you should have in your library, but maybe stuffed in the back because you'll probably play it once and then shelve it for a decade before you decide to revisit it. The controls just getting around are okay, but I feel just a little clunky moving around. The game doesn't look half bad for a Nintendo 64 game, although there's a bit of a jarring feel when we hop from 3D to 2D and back again. Plus, it's just too damn brown. There's something about the browns and the grays featured here that inject depressive feelings instead of enjoyment, so you might walk away from this game with a heavy heart. And admittedly, several tunes from this game have stuck in my head like old gum in an ear canal. That weird happy song from the Disciples Tower is an earworm in the shower. My journey was not without merit. It taxes your brain a little too hard, like many old school adventure games of its time. But if you just have a GameFAQs walkthrough by your side, it can be pretty enjoyable. I'm glad I found it for a reasonable price, and you'll dig it if you want something a little different for your N64 library. Oh, and... Thank you for watching! If your favorite color is brown, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more retro treasures. And I know it, everyone's favorite color is secretly brown.